Good evening, and welcome to Wasted with Will. Well, I am your butch femc for the evening, Dick Jones. Yes, I'm Dick Jones, and yes, those are also dicks. So yeah, let's, I am so excited to welcome you to the fourth installment of Wasted with Will. For those of you who have not tuned in before, Wasted with Will is basically a dumb and blatant ripoff of Drunk History. Sorry, Derek Waters, please don't send me a cease and desist. We're just trying to have some fun. So here's how it goes. You've got some amazing presenters this evening from New Orleans and beyond. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be recounting the plots of their favorite Shakespeare plays. And they're going to do it completely fucking hammered. Completely fucking hammered. It's going to be a shit show. So the theme for this week is, it's not a ripoff, it's an homage. Because Shakespeare, like so many Elizabethan writers and other writers just in general, he was a total fucking plagiarist. Like, he ripped off work of other playwrights all the fucking time. They all did. They're dirty. So, why don't we get started with your first presenter, who I know you're going to love. This first presenter is a dear, dear friend of mine, and they are presenting you one of Shakespeare's earliest works that is a total ripoff from some work by this Roman playwright Plautus, who I don't think any of us read in high school, maybe college. Yeah, he's not one of the guys that you should really know, it's fine. But anyway, bringing you their very, very wasted double feature, local New Orleans writer Joaquin Emiliano and local New Orleans burlesque performer Lucky Strikeout.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Of course, I jest. I am well aware that you are all tuning in specifically to see me, but then again, I suppose there is a certain amount of truth, for I do not see you there. You all watch me, and thus I welcome you all to Wasted with Will.
This is Wasted with Will. This is episode 4. It is entitled...
It is not a ripoff, it is an homage.
I like to call it Kill Bill.
Today we will be discussing The Comedy of Errors. This is one of William Shakespeare's earlier plays.
William Shakespeare's first play, very much homaged from the ancient Greeks.
To make sure that I stay absolutely faithful to the material, I have with me a cup of tea, as well as notes, as you can see. These are taken from the original Wikipedia, and they will help guide us word for word, or measure for measure if you prefer, through the winding, twisting world that is the Comedy of Errors.
Okay, Act 1
Act 1
is only backstory. It's terrible. It's really lame. But basically, you have two countries. You have Ephesus and you have Syracuse.
Because law forbids merchants from Syracuse to enter Ephesus, elderly Syracusan trader Aegeon faces execution when he is discovered in the city.
There is a Syracusan merchant who's apprehended for arrival there. And he's talking to the Duke of Ephesus in front of all these people. So he's like, I'm looking for my twin sons. You have twin sons? Yes, I have twin sons. His twin sons, both named the same. They're Antipholus and Antipholus. Because, why wouldn't you do that if you had kids?
On the same day, a poor woman without a job also gave birth to twin boys, and he purchased these as slaves to his sons.
Also a pair of identical twins, Dromio and Dromio.
Soon afterwards, the family made a sea voyage and was hit by a tempest. Perhaps William Shakespeare was planning his final tome all along. Aegeon lashed himself to the mainmasts with one son and one slave, and his wife took the other 2 infants. His wife was rescued by one boat, Aegeon by another. Aegeon never saw again his wife or the children with her.
So, you have 2 sets of twins. You have Antipholus from Syracuse, you have Antipholus from Ephesus, and you have Dromio and Dromio from Syracuse and Ephesus.
Recently, his son Antipholus, now grown, and his son's slave Dromio left Syracuse to find their brothers. The Duke is moved by the story and grants Aegeon 1 day to pay his fine before being executed.
That is the backstory of the play. So, Dromio and Antipholus from Syracuse arrive. They're supposed to be very undercover. Pretend that you're from Ephesus because you're gonna die. So you're not from Syracuse, you're from Ephesus. So we have Antipholus from Syracuse. He tells Dromio from Syracuse, hey, listen, we're hanging out at this place called the Centaur. It's a hotel. And he's like, here's some money for you. This is some money that we have. Take it to the Centaur and stay there till I come to thee, get thee away. So
he is confounded when the identical Dromio of Ephesus appears almost immediately, denying any knowledge of the money.
Antipholus from Syracuse. Let's say this is Dromio from Ephesus shows up. Antipholus is like, hey, what's up? Why are you back so soon? He's like, hey, guess what? Like, your wife is upset because you're not coming home to dinner. You're always out gallivanting. And just like hanging out with strange broads and crap. What are you talking about? Your wife, who like, at the Phoenix, like we own a hotel.
Antipholus, thinking his servant is making insubordinate jokes, beats Dromio of Ephesus.
What? Are you crazy? You're making fun of me. I hate you. And he like beats him. Antipholus tastes really good. Dromio's got kind of like a crisp thing you'd expect from a Pinot. From California, definitely. Except this is not Dromio from California.
Dromio takes to his heels.
I'll take my heels, and he runs off. Ah, man, the villains are robbed of all my money. Like, brrr. And he takes off as well.
Act 2.
Act 2, I think. I'm not sure. We are introduced to Adriana and Luciana. Adriana is the wife of Antipholus from Ephesus. Her sister is Luciana, and they're at the Phoenix. Adriana's pissed off, and then Dromio from Ephesus shows up, and he's just like, hey, lady, your husband's insane. He asked me for 1,000 marks in gold, which I didn't have, and I tried to tell him to come home, but he like beat me.
Adriana, concerned that her husband's eyes strain, takes this news as confirmation of her suspicions.
Dromio, go far, far away. Get your master to come back here. Get my husband to get back here.
Antipholus of Syracuse, meanwhile, complains, I could not speak with Dromio since at first I sent him from the mart.
Walking around saying to himself and to the audience, just as I thought, the money that I gave to Dromio is safe to the Centaur, but why did he act this way? And then Dromio, wait, hang on. This is Dromio from Syracuse. No, sorry, Dromio from Ephesus. Enter Dromio from Syracuse. Twins taste the same, by the way. Syracuse. Hey, what's up, Dromio? Are you done, like, making fun of me? Well, I haven't seen you, like, since I went over to the Centaur with the gold you gave me. You should feel real good about that, because you're terrible.
Antipholus begins beating him. We do sense a pattern here. Yes, it's called drama.
There's a lot of fighting in this. It's terrible. Like that.
Suddenly, Adriana rushes up to Antipholus of Syracuse and begs him not to leave her.
Along with Luciana, her sister. Here, Luciana. I don't know. Antipholus from Syracuse.
Antipholus and Dromio go off with this strange woman, the one to eat dinner and the other to keep the gate. Guess which one is which.
Okay, where was I?
Act 3.
And I've lost track of who's who, but also they're all the same ones because they're twins.
Antipholus of Ephesus returns home for dinner and is enraged to find he is rudely refused entry to his own house by Dromio of Syracuse, who is keeping the gate.
Bam! from Ephesus was just like, what? I'm not being allowed into my own house? And he's angry and he wants to break in. Senior Balthasar calms him down, just like, listen, relax. You have a reputation to uphold. Instead of actually going into this house, what I'm going to do is I'm taking all of us over to the whorehouse.
He decides instead to dine with a courtesan.
Antipholus from Syracuse, turns out that he's in love with Adriana's sister Luciana. Hey, listen, like, be nice to my sister. It's your wife. You need to be cool. And Antipholus from Syracuse was just like, oh God, I love you so much. And they run around like a desk. Fuck off. Dromio from Syracuse is freaking out, but he's just like, dude, there's some lady who works in the kitchen. And he's like, also, she's fat. That's all right. But he's like, hey, guess what? I've been well fed. I've had a lot of sex. Now I want you to go and buy a rope. A rope, which is basically a whip. He's like, no. I'm just going to beat my wife and her confederates for, like, locking me out of my house. And Dromio's just like, awesome, I'm going to go buy a rope.
Antipholus of Ephesus is then accosted by Angelo, the goldsmith who we met at the end of Act 3. Angelo is asking to be reimbursed for the chain. Antipholus of Ephesus denies ever seen it and is promptly arrested.
Just so everybody knows, you can just pay a cop to arrest anyone you want to. Sorry, Antipholus of Ephesus is walking across the stage handcuffed to his officer, which is like 80% less hot than it sounds.
As he is being led away, Dromio of Syracuse arrives, whereupon Antipholus dispatches him back to Adriana's house to get money for his bail.
Here, take this key, take it to Adriana. So Dromio from Syracuse leaves. The courtesan's upset, didn't get the chain in return for the diamond. Then Dromio of Ephesus comes in with the rope. Oh, do you have the money? Yeah, I gave the money for a rope. And he's like, you spent all this money on a rope, you dick? And he, like, beats him.
And now, Act 5, the final act of The Comedy of Errors by William Shakespeare, and oh, what an act it is.
Adriana, the courtesan, Luciana, and a bunch of her entourage show up. These two bound off together. I haven't used this one very much. You have Antipholus. By the way, Dromio of Ephesus and Antipholus of Ephesus escape from their captors. Antipholus, Dromio, Syracuse, they go into an abbey. So basically, Adriana, actually, who I have not tasted yet. Let's see what Adriana tastes like. She tastes like jealousy and crazy person. Okay, Adriana says, I will attend to my husband, be his nurse, and the abbess is like, fuck off, I'm gone. So the abbess leaves, but also the duke is there, so basically everyone is seeking justice. They show up. And then the other two sets of twins. Oh wait, no, this is Adriana. Hold on. Show up. I'm seeing double, 4 crusties. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, sorry, my dad, my master. Anyway.
Not only are the two sets of twins reunited, but the abbess reveals that she is Aegeon's wife, Emilia of Babylon. Am I reading that right? Babylon? Okay, Emilia of Babylon.
Dromio from Syracuse is just like, hey, what's up, bro? Sorry I banged your wife, but I don't like her because she's fat. And you can bang her all you want to. He's like, oh, I think I will bang her. Oh, guess what? Sorry I banged your wife. Nah, it's cool. You can bang my wife all you want to. Oh, but I really love Luciana. Mwah. And on top of all that, here we have The Duke. Thy father has his life. There are no small parts, there are only small flavors. Wait, how did the third twin show up?
All exit to the Abbey to celebrate the reunification of the family. And there you have it. William Shakespeare's The Comedy of Errors.
That is The Comedy of Errors.
Oh, my tits are insane in this bra. Wow. Is this burlesque? That was Joaquin, Emiliano, and Lucky Strikeout, everyone. What? Yeah. So if you liked what you saw, please show Joaquin, Emiliano, and Lucky Strikeout some love. Their pay app information is listed in the comments. My pay app information is listed as well. You can tip Lucky and Joaquin directly, but if you tip me, that money also goes directly to the cast, but it's also going to be matched and donated this week to Innocence Project New Orleans. So I'm gonna take a minute to talk about the Innocence Project, which is an organization that is very near and dear to my heart, both as someone who has incarcerated people in their life and also as someone who considers themselves an ethical and good human being. The Innocence Project is doing absolutely important and incredible and really, really hard work. The Innocence Project has been around since 1992. Innocence Project New Orleans has been around since 2001, and since then they have exonerated 36 innocent people. Which is bananas. That shouldn't be. I mean, prisons shouldn't be. We should just burn those motherfuckers to the ground. But in the meantime, the Innocence Project is doing incredible, necessary, vital work. And any money that I receive, I will match and donate to Innocence Project New Orleans. So get those donations rolling in. You're having fun watching a show, but you're also doing something good. Isn't that awesome? So, let's move on, shall we? I know you want to see your next presenter. And your next presenter is a doozy, let me tell you. This is one of the most badass ladies I know, and they're gonna be talking about a play that I honestly, I had no idea what the fuck this play was about. It's not one that I feel like people really talk about or read or whatever. Shakespeare was a prolific guy, and there's just certain plays where you're like, oh yeah, no, I don't know what the fuck that is. Well, I'm here to tell you that our next presenter is gonna tell you what the fuck that is. So giving you their very, very wasted interpretation of All's Well That Ends Well, based on a story from Boccaccio's The Decameron, because we've established already that Shakespeare ripped off a bunch of motherfuckers. I give you local burlesque performer, Phoenix Rose.
Action.
Okay. Hi, I'm Phoenix and I'm very hungover and I'm here to talk about All's Well That Ends Well, if you can understand what I'm saying. So I would like to preface this by saying this is not, in fact, my favorite Shakespeare play, but virginity is a social construct and it's traded like currency and talked about as like this weird switch that apparently makes you a more valuable human in this play, which is super fucking weird and gross. Anywho, so we start at a wake in the Count's palace with Bertram, Helen, the Countess, and LeFou. And so basically Bertram has to go take his father's place in the King of France's court, and they're like having their goodbyes, blah blah blah, and Helen and Bertram, oh my god, I'm so hungover. Helen and Bertram say goodbye to each other, and then Helen goes on and like this monologue talking to herself about how she's like madly in love with him, but of course like she's a lower class. Her father was a famous physician, but when he died, he entrusted her to the Countess, but she still maintained her name, which meant she wasn't like an honorable family per se, which is dumb because her father was a famous physician, so like how fucked it, I just don't understand how any of the classism works, and it's just the stupidest thing ever, and I hate everything. Why are you laughing at me? I'm trying to do Shakespeare. So then, this weird fucking guy, Parolles, or whatever the fuck his name is, comes in and literally just goes, "Are you meditating on virginity?" As if that's not the weirdest fucking thing you can ever just like walk in and say to someone who's talking to themselves, as if they're not already going through something. Like, they obviously need a moment, like, what are you talking about? So then they have this interesting kind of debate where she's basically asking how you hold off having sex, and it's very uncomfortable, but he does have this line that I think is interesting where he's like, "Man will sit before you and undermine you and blow you up every time," basically, which I thought was a weird, like a warning to her, basically, about like, you have feelings for all these people, but they're very much not interested in your value as a person. Like, it's like almost like this token of virginity. That's, at least, this man is a creep. Let's just put it that way. So then, I'm gonna die. So then, Bertram goes, he meets the king, they exchange words about how they love his dad so much, and he was great. And then the Countess gets told by a steward about this monologue that Helen had, and was basically interrogating her, starting off being like, "Am I not your mom?" And she's like, "Well, not really. I mean, like, you're kind of my pseudo-mom." And she's like, "But why can't you say I'm your mother?" So she's got, like, this whole, like, thing going on. This lady's got her own shit. And she's like, "But you love my son, right?" And she's like, "Yes, but that's not why I want to go to Paris. The king is dying of a fistula. Your boy's dying of a fistula." And she's like, "I think I can fix it." And she's like, "That's dumb. No, you can't." And she's like, "Yes, I can." She's like, "Okay, whatever. Go try." So then she goes to France, meets the king, and he's like, "Why? Who the fuck are you? Why would I believe that you can fix this? Like, none of my doctors have been able to fix it." She's like, I just believe I can do it. Like, my father was this person." And he's like, "I know who he was," and this is so hard to talk right now. And so he's just like, "You're uber confident. I'm gonna let you try this, but here's the catch. If I die, we're gonna kill you." And she's like, "Okay, what about if I fix you?" And he's like, "Well, what do you want?" And she's like, "I want to marry anyone I want." He's like, "Deal." So then she cures the fistula, come to a room of suitors who are basically all turning her down, and LeFou is just standing there like, "This is a beautiful, brilliant woman, like, what the fuck are y'all?" Like, he literally says, "If these were my sons, I'd be, like, whipping them," or something. Like, he's literally just like, "Y'all are so stupid. Y'all are, who do you think you are to be passing up this opportunity? It's a joke. Like, y'all are cute, and that's cute." And then so, of course, she picks Bertram. And Bertram's like, "How did I get involved in this? Fuck no. Absolutely not." And then runs away to Florence, stealing from the French, and leaves a letter basically saying, like, "I will not allow this." Like, he weds her, the king makes him, but he's like, "Until she has my ring and my child, I do not validate this marriage. Absolutely not." So then Helen returns to France, and they send her back to, not France, fucking the Countess's house, her mom's house, the place, and they read. He just like basically sends this letter that's like, I'm just dying right now. He sends this letter and is basically expecting his mom to just like treat her like shit because he's feeling salty about this whole situation that he was put into. And she's like, "This fucking is an embarrassment. I fucking hate this kid. Like, I love you, girl, still love you, always loved you, like, but this is fucking embarrassing. Like, fuck this kid. Like, I don't really like him." And then so Helen follows him to Florence, where she meets the widow and Diana, who Bertram has taken to and is like obsessed with this young virgin, daughter of this widow. And you creeper boy Parolles is over there with him. He followed him as well. So Helen meets the widow and Diana, and they're like, we fucking hate this guy. Like one of them is like, if I were his lady, I would poison him, which is like baller. So then they devise this whole plan to get the rings. So after the marriage, the king had given Helen a ring as a congratulations. So she gives it to Diana to give to Bertram to show that, to recognize for the king later. And they arrange a midnight meeting where Bertram believes that he's going to sleep with Diana, but in fact it's Helen because he can't see her, and he gives her his ring, and they make a baby. It's what happens. And so then after this happens, everyone assumes back at home, the Countess assumes because Helen's gone that she's dead, so they write Bertram saying that he can return to France and all this stuff because she's dead. So he comes back, and then they're having, like, they're in the royal court situation. Oh, meanwhile, while we're still in Florence, Carolus is found out as a coward because some of the soldiers capture him and pretend to be the French because he's bragging about how insanely cool he is, and they capture him pretending to be the French, and he basically just turns on Bertram and tries to, he's like, I'll tell you everything about our military, like, I'll tell you everything you need to know, just don't kill me. So then Bertram, like, gets rid of him, he's like, fuck you, like, bye. So then they go back, Diana shows up in court, and is like, he tried to seduce me, he tried to marry me, blah, 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 and then he sees the ring, and they say, like, Diana's a liar, and they're gonna throw her in jail, and then Helen comes in, pregnant AF, and is like, let's, like, look at what's going on, and of course he's trying to deny it, like, to the very end, but then the king sees he's wearing the ring that Helen gave him. He gave Helen. Oh my god, I have such bad cotton mouth right now. That he gave me the rings. He sees the rings, and the whole thing of the letter was like, basically he set himself up for failure, where he was like, if you literally get these two things, like, it was almost like a quest. It was like, you got the time, like, let's get it. But this is where you lose me, is then he's like, oh, well, you caught me, you got me, you're pregnant, you got my ring, and so I'll marry you. And then they just stay married. No. Go to jail and give me all your money. Go to jail and give me all of your money, bro. Like, that's, okay. So that's, I don't know why it's called All's Well That Ends Well, because that's trash for a lot of people. What kind of crap is that? Like, can you imagine that house? The weird grandma energy? Ooh. No. Okay. So, that was me attempting to tell you about Shakespeare. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And now I'm gonna go eat a quesadilla. Goodbye.
Yes, give it up from your bedrooms, your couches, your toilet seats, wherever, for Phoenix Rose. That was great. Please tip Phoenix. Her pay app information is in the comments again. And again, if you tip me directly, I will match and donate everything that I take in tonight for Innocence Project New Orleans. It's a good thing, so do it. Well, guess what, folks? We are winding down this week's episode of Wasted with Will. Thank you so much for being a part of our audience and being so supportive. We have got one more presenter for you. And this presenter is bringing you the one. Like, this is like, aside from like Romeo and Juliet, the one that everyone's fucking read in high school, this is like the Shakespeare tragedy. So this next play that we're presenting is based off of an old Norse legend that was finally put down into paper in 1200 AD, which, like, you know, wasn't even super that long ago for Shakespeare. You know, that's pretty fresh, right? Yeah, pretty fresh, I think. Anyway, this next presenter is one of New Orleans' drag icons. She just consistently takes my breath away, and I cannot wait to see her weirdness on stage again. I'm gonna do one of those like hyperbolic Gen Z Zennial internet things and say that this next presenter, if they murdered me with an axe, I would love every second of it. Bringing you their very hammered interpretation of Hamlet, I give you Velma Blair.
Oh, hello. Hi, it's me, Velma Blair, and I have been assigned the arduous task of explaining to you the tragical history of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. So, Denmark is cold, it's shitty, filled with shitty people who do shitty things to each other. They're at war with the Norwegians. It's this whole fucking thing. King of Denmark, old King Hamlet, is fucking dead. Small power vacuum, but in comes this guy named Claudius, who is King Hamlet's brother or something, I think. He's just like, yo, what if I married Queen Gertrude, your dead wife? So, we don't have a fucking problem, so we're at war. He's doing it because he's actually fucking Hamlet's mom. This is within 2 days. They're immediately just publicly. That's where we are. Play opens. You see some guards. They are doing their rounds. And they see a ghost. And they're just this guy kind of looks like the king. And so these guards, Horatio and something, I don't remember it, it's not important. They're like, yo, we gotta tell Hamlet, young Hamlet, who is the Prince of Denmark. See, the thing with Hamlet is he has been sad as shit. He's so sad. He is fainting on the chaise lounges, really having a bad time. Because, in case you forgot, his dad's dead. And his mom is, immediately fucking his uncle. It's a gross thing. So they see this ghost. They're like, okay, we have to tell Hamlet. He's just like, I might need to investigate this. We will go out and look at it tonight. Cut to Hamlet is talking with Claudius and Gertrude. They're in court. And they're just like, Hamlet, this needed to happen, and you need to stop being so fucking sad all the time. Norway might kill us at any moment, and we can't just have you everywhere. We can't have it. Please just be nice. And Hamlet was like, okay, I'll be nice about it, but I'm mad at you. I'm so mad. I'll be happy. Cut to, there's this dude named Polonius, and Polonius is Claudius's advisor. He's just the whole fucking thing. Round 2, we're there, cool. Polonius, he's a big fat poop. He's a conniving little turd. No one likes him. And he has this daughter and this son. Laertes, kind of broy, big, handsome knight dude. And Ophelia, it's this cute little waif. Hamlet and her be fucking a lot. She really likes him. Laertes and Polonius are just like, look, Hamlet's a big poop. Not only is he not good for you, he's a prince. He can't pick who he's gonna marry. This isn't a thing. He's not gonna... They have this whole conversation. Laertes is about to be like, I gotta go away for a minute because I know some people over in France that can help us with this Norwegian issue. Meanwhile, Hamlet is just like, you know what? Let's go ghost hunting. So he and Horatio and whoever this fucking Mercutio, Malvolio, Hamlet sees it. He sees him off the distance like, oh, there's a young ghost. And goes running after a young ghost. He goes to see the ghost, and it's like, yo, it's my dad, little boy. What's up? I'm in purgatory until you avenge my death, because surprise, your uncle Claudius, he killed me. I was sleeping in the garden, as one does, and then he dumped some poison into my ear and fucking killed me, and now I'm here. Booga booga booga, avenge my death, goodbye. And Hamlet's just like, well, shit. But this could have been a hell ghost. He was a hell ghost. He's just spreading lies to make me do shitty things. What if I act crazy pants? And while being crazy pants, catch everyone off guard where they say some shit so I can figure it out. And once I figure it out for myself and know that it is true, then I will take vengeance. Because that way, I'm not listening to a hell ghost. Hamlet's acting all kinds of crazy and shit. He and Polonius do this whole little thing. They're like running around asking each other like rhetorical questions. It's a stupid wordplay conversation. Every Shakespeare play has to do it. It always happens very beginning of Act 2. If they don't, the audience will riot. They have this conversation. Polonius is just like, he's going crazy because I told my daughter not to fuck him. That's it. That's the ticket. He starts going to run off to go skiing with Claudius and Gertrude. They're going to spy on him. They have called Hamlet's friends from whenever he was going to school out of state, named Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. They show up. Claudius and Gertrude are just like, your friend is stricken with grief for reasons that should be immediately obvious to you. We need you to cheer him up, but also to keep your eye on him. So they start doing that thing, and one of the ways they try to get Hamlet calmed down is like, there are these actors in town. They are like performing Noel Coward's Blithe Spirit. And we're going to get them to come in and do it for everyone here. It's going to be cute as shit. And Hamlet's like, yes, I will enjoy the play. He's very transparently hatching a plan, and that plan involves this play called The Murder of Gonzago, which is about, among nothing else, regicide. And it's like, you're going to do this play, not Noel Coward's Blithe Spirit, and during the scene where the guy kills the king, the scene involves you poisoning someone by dumping poison in his ear, because I'm pretty sure that's how poisons work. And the troupe is just like, whatever the fuck, we'll do it. So they do it. And that's more or less Act 2, except there's the part where Hamlet just like says a lot of shitty things to Ophelia, and she feels really bad about it. Oh, is that crooked? This is kind of crooked. The play happens. They get to the scene where, if I did it, here's how I would have done it. Claudius, full-on shit fit. Wow, that's a lot. Claudius storms out of this play. He's afraid that he's been found out, so he goes off to go, like, pray to God. And so Claudius is doing that, and Hamlet sneaks up on him with a big fucking sword while he's in there talking about it to the Lord. And Hamlet's just like, so I can't kill him now. Shit. So he doesn't. He runs away. How like a man. He turns his anger to none other than his mother. Breaks into her bedroom. Fucking uncle. Right? Still playing up that whole crazy thing. So it's just like, really just kind of extra. Can we talk about how roundabout of a plan this was? Like, you know Hamlet straight because this is how he chose to do it. Before he ran in there, Polonius and her were talking about some shit, but then they hear Hamlet coming, and he's just like, oh fuck! And goes to go run hide behind a tapestry, because every royal advisor's job is to hide conspicuously behind furniture. You're fucking my uncle. And then Hamlet's dad's ghost pops in the window, says hello. It's like, yo, Hamlet, you're being a disappointment again. This whole vengeance mission, this could have been an email. This could have been easy. This could have been run in there, you accuse him of some shit and kill him, and you know, we're done. But it's gotta be a big thing, and you're taking 25 goddamn years. Please just do your job. The gag. Gertrude can't see him, and Gertrude is constantly just like, sorry, you're talking to you. Hamlet starts getting a little crazy at the end of this fight, swinging with a sword. She calls for help. So Polonius also starts yelling for help. Hamlet is in the room, so he's just like, oh. And makes a big fucking stab right at that tapestry. Polonius eats it. Dead as shit. At this point, Claudius is just like, I'm in danger. Number 4. So Claudius is just like, Hamlet is so hot. If I were to throw him in jail right now, all of these pretty girls who love him so much will fully take to the streets and just have fit. Oh, that's bad. But I can send him to England. I can tell them to kill him. I could probably kill Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to do it. You know, their plot device. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are like, yeah, cool. So they load Hamlet on this fucking boat. While he is gone, where's my lip liner? Are these the same color? Ooh, that's blunt. We cut back to things happening in this castle. Ophelia has lost her fucking mind. She's like full Edwardian urchin, throwing flowers at people. Barrage of dream symbolism. Crazy. Laertes comes home at this exact moment. What's up with my sister? Why is my dad dead? Claudius tells them, and Laertes is pissed as shit. And meanwhile, there were these letters that Claudius sent. The letter's like, yo, kill Hamlet. Then Hamlet finds the letter because he's not stupid. Change this letter so that they will kill Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Hamlet, the little boat that he's on, getting shipped to England. Well, pirates happen, friends. Pirates happen to the ship. They just show up. They sack it, and Hamlet like commandeers his pirate vessel and heads back with them. It happens totally off stage, which is very upsetting. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern eventually get to Britain. Here's the letter, and it's like, yep, okay, cool, we'll kill you. And then they kill them. It's so stupid. Hamlet gets back to Denmark completely fine. While Hamlet's working his way downtown, comes across this graveyard, right? Uh-oh, there's another funeral happening. I bet someone died in the wars. The person that's being mourned is Ophelia. Surprise. Ophelia's fucking dead. How is she dead? Oh, she threw herself into a fucking river. Oh, I gotta pee. I gotta go pee. Oh, before the funeral, he sends him a fucking letter. Yo, I'm on my way back. Some pirates. I'll tell you when I get there. Wink. And then signed with like a knife stab because he's subtle. He's like, well, what if you want to avenge your dad and he wants to avenge his dad? What if when he gets back we did a duel and then we poison your sword and we also poison mine and give him so that there's like 5 contingency plans so that he will die. Oh, yikes. Did I mention that it's the 2-year anniversary of me starting to do drag? Yikes. They're at the funeral. Laertes is just like, no one loved Ophelia more than I loved Ophelia. There's this whole fit, throws himself on this coffin, and then Hamlet pops out of a fucking bush and goes, no! I loved Ophelia more than you! And Claudius is like, well, what if you all settled it with like a sword fight? And I was like, yeah, cool, let's do a sword fight. They go back to the castle. They get everything ready for this fucking sword fight. I would like to remind you that the original mission of just stabbing Claudius one time still has not happened yet. And need I remind you, Fortinbras's army is on their way. Sword is poisoned. They're gonna start fighting, and Claudius is like, hi, court, my son Hamlet is going through some hard times, and we're gonna do some sports. And start sword fighting. And Hamlet gets a hit on Laertes. A touch, I do confess. Claudius is like, good job, Hamlet, for getting one single hit at the very beginning of this tournament. What if? And then takes a pearl, is like, this pearl represents your victory, and drops it in the wine. Here, Hamlet, have a sip. And Hamlet's just like, nah, I'm gonna fight this guy, I'm gonna fight him sober. Gertrude, however, is thirsty. Gertrude is just like, give me this wine. I want it. To your health, Hamlet. Claudius is just like, oh shit, but he says nothing. Laertes and Hamlet keep fighting, and then Laertes stabs him. Hamlet's poisoned. He's gonna die at any time. But then in the kerfuffle, Hamlet picks up Laertes' sword. And then they stab each other again. Laertes is poisoned now. Gertrude goes like, it is poisoned. And she dies. Laertes is like, okay, we're both gonna die now. And in case you haven't figured out why, ham sandwich, this is all because of Claudius. And I'm only just able to recognize this now. Laertes is just like, and he's dead. Hamlet is just like, well, you know what? Runs up to Claudius, takes the poisonous sword, stabs him with it, takes the wine, shoves it in his face, like down his fucking throat. Fuck you! And then Claudius dies. He starts to die, and then Horatio is just like, well, you know what? I kind of feel left out. I should also die. And then Hamlet's like, no, Horatio. So that's to live to tell my story. That's gonna be you. Horatio's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Hamlet is just like, hark. So the point is Hamlet dies. And then Formdraws walks in with like all of these warriors, and they just run in and they're just like, everyone is dead? So this is my castle. Cool. And Horatio's like, you don't kill me, I'll tell you what happened. I don't know, it's a dumb play. Shakespeare is just the Ryan Murphy of classical theater. And we have to live with that. Anyway, that's it. That's Shakespeare. Bye.
That was Velma Blair, everybody. Wasn't she incredible? Make sure that you show Velma Blair some love. Pay app information listed in the comments. And again, I cannot stress this enough, if you donate to me directly, also information in the comments. I will match every donation and I will donate it to Innocence Project New Orleans. So that's our show. What do you think about that? We had some really amazing presenters tonight, showing you just how much Shakespeare was a total ripoff. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Wasted with Will. We've got so much more to come. Shakespeare was a prolific dude. He wrote a lot of plays, and it's our duty to you to present them to you as drunkenly as possible. So again, I've been your host, Dick Jones, and this is Wasted with Will. Come join us next week, where the theme is going to be betrayal. So come see what we have in store, y'all. Love you.